How's it going, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of The Pipeline. I'm Joey, that's Tom, that's Tris. We had a pretty exciting week, but of course, Andre is not here because he is working on the never-ending video that just can't ever seem to get made because YouTube copyright is just absolute hell. So we all can't wait for this video to come out. But until then, let's talk about the news this week. It's been, once again, very exciting, but we're going to start with a relatively recent news update, which Andre did in the middle of the night last night, and I was just like, oh, okay, this was a surprise. Donkey Kong Country Land has been delayed in Japan. So if you're not in Japan, then you're probably just like, oh, whatever, I can't go to Japan anyway, it's too expensive. But yeah, Nintendo Japan tweeted this, or not Nintendo Japan, Universal Studios Japan tweeted that Donkey Kong Country, which was announced to open in the spring of 2024, will now open in the second half of 2024. We apologize for any inconvenience caused to those who have been waiting. We will notify you as soon as the opening date and other details are decided. Tris, as somebody who doesn't live in Japan, how do you feel about this?
I mean, it doesn't change for me because I wasn't going to go get to see it this year anyway. But I think realistically, it's a little surprising to see like so soon to when it was supposed to
let Universal cook. Yes, indeed.
Like it was supposed to come out probably this month, next month. Or not come out, but like actually like open up then. So the fact that they're pushing it at this point makes me think there must be something that went wrong with like testing like the coaster or something. Like it must be something big enough to actually make them delay it for a bit.
Yeah, delay the rides so it doesn't derail on launch day. That would suck. Final Destination for anyone. It's Tom, but you were just in Japan, but you're not anymore.
I was kind of hoping that it might be open when I was there. So first of all, with the price of Japan, Joey, there's no tipping or tax on top of restaurants in Japan. I mean, you can just wedge yourself into a capsule hotel, save a bit of money that way, go to Donkey Kong Land. But with it being later on, okay, you'll miss summer. So at least there won't be the horrible humidity that's super busy. But
that's true.
Yeah, you think the rides doing new stuff could be there. I mean, maybe they have some new food recipe that's causing a bit of indigestion. They are pretty reliant on that. But hey, get it done right. I mean, they're going to have more. Like it's going to be in the Florida one next year. So
yeah,
best to work it out. And like this, you don't want it to have open up and then have a problem and shut it down again.
Really. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's the deal with all these rides opening in areas with lots of humidity? Florida, Japan, what's going on there? But yeah, I was just at Super Nintendo World Hollywood, and they did already open up some new things there, like the Superstar Cafe, I think is what it's called. So if you don't want to like go all the way down to the Toadstool Cafe, you could get something different at the Superstar Cafe. Or I'm gonna keep forgetting the name, but yeah, we had a little soda there with some of those, I don't know what those bubbles are called in there. They're like boba tea bubbles, but not boba tea. What's this? Also the fact that what was it?
I'll show it again. Yeah.
Okay. Also the fact that there's a Yoshi's Island in Donkey Kong, but no Luigi's Mansion ride is a crime. Agreed.
Don't they have it? There will be eventually. So
I would hope so. Don't they have like a Luigi's Mansion arcade cabinet or something?
Yeah, they do.
It's tough.
It's tough. Yeah,
quarters or yen, depending on where you are.
Quarters again. Now I'm just thinking about Yakuza and playing that in Yakuza, like in the game.
Yes. The only place where arcades are left. But Joey, how many times have you gone to Super Nintendo World? I want to see how jealous I should be.
3 times.
I'm sure you've gone once too. So
yeah, I went once last summer, but
yeah, there's right, Sylvie. I beat you to the punch there on that Luigi arcade comment. But yeah, it's I live like relatively closer than the rest of you, but still like 6 hours away by car. So
still
it's but I've been lucky enough. I've been going to preview events in LA, so I'm just like, well, I got my pass, so time to go. Let's do it.
I had a Universal pass for 1 year. Of course, I only went once, but it was the exact same cost as a day pass.
Right, so you might as well. Yeah. I'm sure it's different now. Everything's just more expensive. But let's move on to what I think is the best news of the week, Tom. On the Switcher, we did it. We were in it. We're in the best timeline. Keanu Reeves has been cast as Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I guess it's kind of important to note, like, Paramount did not outright confirm this, but when it comes to Hollywood and like reports with various sources, you're gonna be right 9 times out of 10, maybe even like 9.5 times out of 10. It's not like the gaming industry where everyone's leaking stuff and like it can be wrong, but this time you got to think this is real. You got to think this is true if it's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. I did not think at this point that this was going to be possible. I really didn't. I thought like Tris, you and I had our discussion like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The Sonic movie 3 be like, and we were like, dude, Keanu Reeves, let's do it. And everyone was saying Keanu Reeves. Everyone was saying, most people were like saying it's either going to be Keanu Reeves, Robert Pattinson. And then earlier this year, there were rumors, which now I think were just completely made up, about Hayden Christensen being Shadow. Yeah. And then I was shocked to find Keanu Reeves is coming back into the conversation, but like, and because I thought it's like, oh, it's too perfect, therefore it's not going to happen. But now it looks like it's happening.
Yeah, he really was. He really was like the top fan cast from the moment we knew Shadow was coming to the movies. Like Keanu Reeves really was the top fan cast during that time. So it's exciting to see. And it actually makes me wonder if that played a hand in it. Like for the Sonic movies, they've been very receptive to what fans and viewers have been saying.
Yeah.
Like the whole time. I mean, and you remember the iconic, they changed Sonic's design for the first movie based on feedback. Like this movie series is actually very receptive to what fans want and trying to please Sonic fans. That's why Sonic Movie 2 had a lot more game references. Yeah, not quite in the way of soundtrack, but it felt closer to the Sonic games in its presentation. And I think we're seeing more of that. They might have approached Keanu Reeves because of the popularity surrounding how much people wanted him in the role.
Right. I totally agree. I would think that's the case. And I feel like Hollywood doesn't really do that, or like movie producers don't really do that. They usually like go for a less obvious choice. Maybe they usually don't follow. I can't think of when last time a fan cast. Have you guys seen those clips with people animated Shadow? Yes. Oh my God. There's a Twitter user, I forget their name, I'm very sorry, but like after Sonic 2 came out, they made a very good like animation of like Shadow saying John Wick lines. Yeah. It worked so well. And that's what made me say like it's Keanu Reeves or bust. Like honestly, I can't deny this. My excitement for this movie was hinging on who was going to voice Shadow. Like I was just thinking, they're doing everything right. It seems they're making it Sonic Adventure 2, the movie, pretty much my favorite Sonic game. But if they flub the casting of Shadow, my excitement will dip. And that's why I was afraid when Hayden Christensen was being rumored, because I didn't want him voicing Shadow. But then Keanu comes in, then it's just like wow, this is insane. First, John Campea of the John Campea podcast reported on this, and then he even said, you don't have to believe me because I'm just some nobody on YouTube, but once the Hollywood Reporter starts reporting on it, then you'll know it's real. And then
like what, an hour later?
Yes, exactly an hour later. It was insane. And shout out to Johnny for saying this guy looks like you, Joey. Thank you. I don't see it, but I like to think like if I'm being compared to Keanu Reeves at all, that's just an honor. But Tom, I have to ask you, as a Canadian, we have the Canadian Jim Carrey playing Dr. Eggman, the villain, and now we have Canadian Keanu Reeves playing another villain who may become a good guy. I don't know. Shadow. What do you think the agenda of this film is? Like, are they trying to say like Canadians are bad and you should never trust them?
Well, maybe. Maybe so, but I mean, like Eggman, he's kind of like a buffoon in a way too with Jim Carrey. So it's like a friendly villain. With Canadians, I don't know. Maybe we push the movie over the top. That's all. So
exactly.
Canada's tired of the stereotype of being too nice. Now we're casting them as villains.
Yeah, and they make my job even more fun to make thumbnails. So I got no complaints. So
yeah,
true.
But yeah, this is just, I'm very excited to hear what he sounds like as Shadow. I think like they asked Idris Elba on the red carpet premiere for Knuckles, just like, how do you feel about this? And I think he was a little like on like a little cautious about it, saying like it's kind of a rumor. I don't know exactly what he was trying to say, but even still, it's just like it's confirmed at this point. It really is. Let's be honest.
It's all but officially confirmed. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like we don't know like 100%, but it's pretty close.
like a
Yeah.
good 90.
There's
Whoa.
too many sources that state that this is a real thing for it to not be a real thing, and that he's already been signed. So, yeah, very excited. And thinking about the Idris Elba as Knuckles, that was kind of a surprise. I don't think anybody talked about the possibility of Idris Elba being Knuckles until he made that tweet that said "knock knock," and then we got what a fantastic casting too. And they did something different with that character also a little bit. Like he's got a bit of a British accent a little bit. So that's really cool.
It's so exciting too when you think about the fact that Keanu Reeves as Shadow, if this really is what's happening, this is not just going to be a one-time thing. Like there's no way Shadow's only going to be in this movie. Like Shadow's probably the other top contender next to Knuckles for getting a spin-off TV show. Like Keanu's gonna have this like tied to him forever, that he was Shadow for a while. In a good way, of course. But that's never gonna go away. Like how for Idris Elba, Knuckles is never gonna go away. Like part of that now.
Yeah, true. And Gift says Idris Elba is a British actor, and I'm like, yes, I know, but I thought he was going to put on an American accent for Knuckles, but he didn't. So, yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, Splat Blab. Keanu is listed on IMDb as Shadow. I did check this because I was curious, but it still doesn't mean it's technically confirmed. But like, if the Hollywood Reporter is reporting on it, and every other site is following through, then I feel like it's got to be the case here. So yeah, it's very exciting stuff. Sonic Movie 3 comes out December 20th, and now it's my most anticipated film of the entire year. So very exciting stuff. Now then, speaking of video game adaptations, let's talk about another banger of a video game adaptation, Fallout. As not a week later after its debut, it has already been renewed for a season 2. Not a big surprise. Show's been a bomb hit, pun very much intended, because the bombs. And have any of you watched it yet?
I have not. I
haven't seen it yet.
Very good things.
Oh my god, you need to see it. You both need to. Even if you don't have any experience with the games, I cannot recommend this show enough. Like, I don't know if it's like recency bias or what have you. I really think this is the best video game adaptation of all time. I really think it is. It's the fact that my wife, who doesn't really play anything but Sims, right, is watching this show. She's already hooked episode 1 because the show is not relying on its references or like being tied to the game. It's telling a good story. And that's what a great video game adaptation needs to do, is tell a good story. And they do it so well in the show, like by tying the lore into it. It's also funny because it's not like it's set in the world of the games. So it's set after Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas. And there's some references tied to each. You see, I'm not going to spoil too much of anything, but it's fantastic. And I highly recommend if you haven't seen it yet, you should watch it, especially now that season 2 has been confirmed. All the episodes are out now. Just binge it. It's worth the binge. It's really good.
Joey, for some of our people because Fallout isn't usually on a Nintendo console, like in the games, what happens? Does this one start where you go in a vault because of an atomic bomb being dropped? How does it work?
I will say, if you really don't care about spoilers, well, it's not even that much of a spoiler. It's the very beginning of the show.
Yeah.
It is. The first scene is before the bombs drop. So it's like Fallout 4 in that sense. And then it cuts to over 200 years later. And then we follow 3 different characters. Vault Dweller Lucy, who we see pictured in this article. Brotherhood of Steel recruit, what's his name? Maximus. And a guy simply called the Ghoul, played by the wickedly talented Walton Goggins. So yeah, it's a very good show. It is fantastic, and I already want to watch it again. But because of the show, the Fallout games have been spiking in popularity. We got that next gen patch coming soon for Fallout 4. A lot of people are jumping back into Fallout 4, even 76, New Vegas 3, just all kinds of good stuff happening for Fallout, and rightfully so. Show is fantastic. I can't say it enough.
Well, and smartly they put them on sale, so
yeah, exactly. It helps a lot. Yeah, this show has done like everything great for the Fallout brand, and it's a dang shame Fallout 5's not coming out until I have grandchildren. So yeah, but there's a rumor that there's a Fallout 3 remaster in the works, so maybe that'll happen this year.
That'd be well timed.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's bringing up Gift's bringing up the Sly Cooper movie. Remember that trailer? to that movie that never happened?
No,
So
I
sad.
don't actually.
Yeah, they had a trailer for it. Like it was a legit movie trailer for an upcoming animated Sly Cooper movie.
Wow.
And it never came out. Which maybe was, I don't want to say it was for the best because I hate it when things get scrapped, but it's not like they finished. It's not like they finished it. Like they finished Coyote versus Acme. So yeah, so the very cool stuff. Watch Fallout. Anyway, next story. I don't know how to segue this. So emulators. We like emulators here, right? Everyone?
Allegedly.
Okay. Allegedly,
I like
right?
game preservation, but
Exactly. And so right now there's a few things coming out. There's official emulators on the App Store, on the iPhone App Store, which is not a thing that's used to happen before. I remember getting emulator apps on my Android. They were always more on Android devices, but like this is like the first time like you can actually play games on what are the consoles? NES, SNES, Nintendo 64, and Nintendo DS. So that's really cool here. But now we're getting reports that that a PlayStation, GameCube, Wii, and Sega emulators for iPhone and Apple TV are also going to be coming to the App Store. Lots of cool stuff happening in the world of emulation, even if you have to play on a garbage control scheme on the touchscreen. But you can also use Bluetooth connected controllers on these things. Tom, as an enjoyer of video games, how do you feel about this?
well, it's like weird. It's like, is this Apple doing it as a move just because of pressure from Epic recently to be more open? Like part of it too, it's like I wish Nintendo would just do something like this officially in a way, then to open it up more. But even if it was on their own system, like I don't have an iPhone, so I kind of rely on it. I have to wait and see if this has on a Google device later. I'd be a little bit happier with it if it was a way to be supporting the different systems themselves, because obviously emulation, it's a different can of worms. It's not like most of these people are backing up their own ROMs. That's kind of the way I feel. But like, it's almost impossible for people to play the old games based off the prices for some of these. So like, if it means somebody can play Elite Beat Agents again who missed out on the original, like I'm kind of happy in a way, because that game's not being made again later. So Chris, how about you?
Yeah, the way I kind of look at it, I mean, as someone that doesn't have an iPhone, so this doesn't even affect me, but the idea of a lot of these games, for example, the N64 games, right? Those are already on things like NSO, or like I own them already on like other older services. So while I personally have ways of accessing them, I don't care that much about it. I do understand like GameCube games that are like, you know, hundreds of dollars on eBay, or you don't have a Wii or a GameCube to be able to play them. I understand wanting more ways to play them, which is why everybody wants like a GameCube NSO service in the future. But I understand the want for more accessibility to a lot of the games. So like on that front, I get it. But I would never want to play most of these games on like a mobile device.
Me either.
Yeah.
Apple TV, so it's on a TV, sure. I can't think of any instance I would ever want to play any of these games on my phone. Like at that point, I'll play it on my 3DS if it's on my 3DS, or you know, on my Switch in handheld mode.
Yeah, I think if you scroll down on the article, Tom, you can see what the DS emulator looks like, and it just looks so bad. Like the layout of it, I think.
No, but that's on the thumbnail though. Where
it is. Yeah, you can see it on the thumbnail of the pipeline. It's just like you see the two screens on the top of the phone, and the controls are on the bottom of the phone, which I guess makes sense kind of if you have to like come up with something. But it's just no, I'm not going to press the shoulder buttons with my thumbs. That's not what they're meant for. Dang it.
Yeah, but no, I definitely understand for the case of games that like obviously they don't make anymore. The only way to get them would be like hundreds of dollars at minimum on eBay. Like, yeah, the companies shouldn't be having too much of a problem with you finding a way to enjoy their content at that point. But
especially if they don't sell that content anymore. Like Knuckles Chaotix, which Sylvie just mentioned, is nearly $1,000 nowadays, and it's just like, you know, you shouldn't ever have to pay $1,000 to play Knuckles Chaotix of all games.
That's a lot of money for that game.
Yeah, so I think that about does it for this emulation story. But you
Okay.
know what Nintendo's going to be very mad about if you emulate at this point, because they got a remaster or remake or whatever coming for it very soon. Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door. Tris, we got a lot of gameplay for this week. Tell us what we saw.
Yeah, so marketing is finally like ramping up for this game. Like there was a little bit like over the last month or so, but like this past week, Nintendo's really ramping up. This game is about a month out now, and it feels like it. We're starting to get little things every day at this point, the past couple days. We've got like a little spotlight for the little Yoshi Kid partner. We had like another little trailer specifically only on the UK social media, which is kind of weird, that showed off like some other things that we haven't seen, like a boss fight and a party member we haven't seen in game yet up until this point. So we're getting like a good amount of focus on it now, which is nice. And it makes me think the overview trailer, like the next like big narrated like 5-minute trailer for this game, is probably coming within the next week. Like right when we hit that like 1 month out point, basically. Like it definitely feels like this is becoming their focus right now. Yes, Endless Ocean comes out in a few weeks, but I think this is the thing that they're marketing bigger and like more aggressively.
Oh yeah, it's wild. Nobody cares about Endless Ocean. So let's just
I'm
be
excited
real.
for Endless Ocean, but I'm more excited for Paper Mario.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like they committed like they committed what is it called, murder with this game, releasing it so close to Mario 1,000-Year Door. I'm talking about Endless Ocean now. I just think it's so funny how like every time they upload a trailer for it, it has like how many views? 10,000? I don't know. I'm just crap talking Endless Ocean at this point. But yeah, I'm excited for 1,000-Year Door. I have never beaten the original on GameCube, and I don't have a copy for it anymore. And I'm not gonna.
It's not easy to get one now. So
I'm not gonna sell a kidney to try to get one. So yeah, I just wish it was 60 frames per second, but that's neither here nor there.
I definitely understand that.
All right, but you know what else I forgot to watch this week because it was 7 a.m. and I was asleep. I was like, I'm not watching this. I'm sorry. I'll let Tom and Tris handle this. IndieWorld Showcase this week. Very cool stuff to see. There was a rumor that there was supposed to be an IndieWorld in March and then a mainline Nintendo Direct this month, but that doesn't appear to be the case anymore. But that IndieWorld eventually came out, so who knows? Maybe we'll get one next month or the month after that for main Direct. But
I suspect something shifted around and plans were too loose. Like when that rumor came out, it was like hot off the heels of, oh yeah, Switch 2 internally delayed to next year. So I imagine their exact plans for marketing were a lot of ideas being thrown at a wall and not really sure which ones were going to happen yet. Obviously, yes, we've now gotten this IndieWorld. I don't think that means a Nintendo Direct, unfortunately, is like right around the corner. I do think they're going to wait till June at this point for that. No, but
you might be right.
This IndieWorld was actually pretty good, I would say. It was really balanced. It had a lot of games with different genres. So, you know, this was not, 8 farming sims all next to each other or anything like that.
Yes, seriously. I didn't see this cat game. Have we learned
Big City? I'm very excited about this one. It just seems very cute.
Another Stray-like, I see.
Well, I think Stray's a bit different, but yeah, Little Kitty, Big City. I knew about this one before, but seeing some of the other games that are out, I'd say this one maybe didn't have as many like super high level, like huge indie games that I look forward to. Like they had some of that in the sizzle reel, but we are getting another Crab's Treasure, Animal Well pretty soon. So those are 2 big ones I waited for a long time that were featured in other indie worlds.
I'm reviewing another Crab's Treasure, Tom. I already beat it.
Beat it. So that's
exciting.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's something I'll look forward to. I know I can't ask you because of embargo.
Yes, I can't say a word. My shell is sealed.
Yeah,
I know almost everyone was excited about the SteamWorld announcement at the very end, though.
Okay,
that was a big deal.
Tell me why.
Let me hop over.
Yeah. Tell me why. I was scrolling through Twitter for a long time after that IndieWorld, and I didn't see one person post about SteamWorld Heist 2.
What?
And I am very disappointed in the world. The SteamWorld games are incredible, and everyone should get into them. Even if there's a SteamWorld game in a genre you don't really like, SteamWorld finds a way to make you like it. Like SteamWorld Heist being that prime example. I don't really care much about turn-based strategy games, but SteamWorld Heist 1, so fun. so fun, and I think it's quite enjoyable. So I'm glad to see that they're making SteamWorld Heist 2. I still need to beat 1, so now I have more of an incentive to do that. But there's a really great sale on the Nintendo eShop right now. All the SteamWorld games are like 1-digit prices. So
yeah,
like,
they're pretty cheap.
yeah, you can get SteamWorld Dig 1 for $2. And that is a steal. SteamWorld Dig 2 is also $5, I think. The only pricier one is SteamWorld Build, I think, for 20 or 30. But I haven't
more
played that
one though, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't played that one yet, so I might have to check that out. But maybe I'll do it on PC.
I do see. I think it was Johnny in chat mentioned, Joey, there was a game early in this indie world that you might be interested in called Yars, which is a Metroidvania looking game.
Oh, Metroidvania looking games. Those are never made ever. I'm just
that's a remake
show me that.
or like a sequel to an older Atari game. So
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Atari comeback.
Talk about it, but it definitely looks interesting. Like, I know we didn't talk about this one too much when we actually did the indie world, but my only gripe with this one is that like the movement specifically looks a little strangely slow, but otherwise, I mean, it's by WayForward mixed with Atari. Like, it actually sounds pretty cool. Like, that's a good lineup right there. And WayForward usually makes pretty good games, so I think it'll be good.
Yes, WayForward, the developers of Bakugan, Champions of Vestroid. I'm just kidding. Yeah, they've had
for the most part. Usually,
WayForward's had way more hits than misses. So
yes.
Well,
Also worth noting with this indie world too, a lot of people were expecting Pizza Tower or Silk Song, and while we didn't get Pizza Tower, we did get Anton Blast, which is a similar game of similar inspirations, and the developers are friends and everything too. So it's that's still a very big deal. Anton Blast was actually announced before Pizza Tower was a thing, if I remember correctly. And other than Pizza Tower, Silk Song is way too big to be in indie world now. Unfortunately, it was never
way
going to
too
be
big.
The closest it would have been was like in the sizzle reel with a reminder of the release date after already getting all of that. Because it's been in like mainline Nintendo Directs. It had a whole segment in Nintendo Treehouse Live before. Like, it's too big for an indie world. It would overshadow everything else here, unfortunately.
That's for sure. That's
too big for a direct. No,
it's too big for a Switch 2 presentation.
I want to say for Anton Blast, I actually kind of prefer the controls for it, and it does have a demo that I played. It has like a regular level and a hard level in it, and I prefer the controls a bit more than Pizza Tower. If you want, the Japanese Indie World Direct has a lot of different games in it, and some of those, like Bo Path of Teal Lotus, I believe the name is, like that one. Some of the games in there were ones I actually might be looking forward to more than the North American one.
It's interesting how different the presentations were.
Yeah.
I am shocked Pizza Tower is not on the Switch yet. I feel like it would have been here by now, but alas,
we still
got a Wario World like on Switch at least. So that's really cool. But anything else about the indie world before we transition over to our favorite segment?
It's just nice to see these new games and ones. I think there's one of the interesting ones we might not see. It's in the sizzle reel. It's like I think we saw it in a Wholesome Direct as a shadow.
Skin.
This game where you jump into the shadows of different
Yeah,
people.
like
I think
this
that
gameplay
of that one might actually be pretty good.
Like, this looks so cool.
Yeah,
it does.
Shim.
Wow. Buy Shim, everyone. Just buy Shim. And then there's Animal Well, which is a Donkey published game, I believe.
Yeah.
But
being made by Billy Basso, and kind of he already knew Dan Adelman, who Dan Adelman helped out the Axiom Verge as Tom Hatt. So,
nice.
I kind of heard about that before Big Mode.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, Duck Detective. Okay. Animals and video games. What a perfect combination. All right. I think it's time we move on to today's Topical Freeze. Let's do this. All right. Don is not here, but he's with us in spirit on Twitter right now because he posted something yesterday that got me thinking. Let's see what Don posted. Just hit play on that. And we don't need to have audio. We could just we could just talk over it. This is Don tweeted, "You can't tell me this isn't the most incredible opening to a Nintendo Direct ever." So this is from the beginning of a 2013 Nintendo Direct focused entirely on Wii Fit U. And I missed out on a lot of these like game focused directs back in the day, just because I didn't really care about Wii Fit U. But the way it opens by the Wii Fit trainer showing you an exercise, which was Iwata's signature pose directly, was so funny and so like just so clever. And it got me thinking, are directs boring now? Are they like just not the same ever since like the Switch era begun? Like, yeah, there's a lot more games in them, but dude, I look back at like these directs from the Wii U and 3DS era, and I'm just like, why can't we have this again? While also still having the large for one, directs don't even need to have that many games in them, because then we wind up with 4 farming games in a row. So I don't know. What do you think, Triss? Am I just being overly nostalgic, or do I got a point here?
No, I'm definitely with you. I think the whole presentation behind Nintendo Directs have changed. Like, it really is a bigger case now of they try to get more games out to you and shown, rather than a focus on the presentation as a whole. Like, there's a very specific style to it all now too. Like, when you're watching a general direct, it usually has like the headlines, for example, or it usually like kind of has that like zooming out, sliding, moving into another screen. Like, it's a very specific format. When you look at game specific directs, there's never really a moment you're not looking at gameplay or a graphic from the game, and it's just heavily narrated and like little like overlays maybe. Like, you don't have the charm of this anymore. Like the Wii Fit U one, where the Wii Fit trainer was there for part of the direct, or the Mario Kart 8 direct, which is, now that I think about it, almost 10 years old by like a few days now, where it was like a bunch of TV channels that had like advertisements for different elements of Mario Kart 8, or different, like teaching you different things about the game as if you were watching different like commercials on TV. Like, that was clever. There's so many different fun details with that. And then of course the E3 directs, where they go all out and they did like robot chicken skits, or like skits of puppets. Like, they've gone all out with those. And yeah, you're right, we haven't really had that much this era, because they instead opted for a more, I guess, uniform marketing plan that was much more concise and to the point, that also let them get more games in there.
That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, Nintendo does tiny bits in directs, but not nearly as much charm as with older directs. Yeah, the last bit I remember them doing was for like WarioWare Move It, and like I think it was Koizumi was doing this.
Yeah, he was doing one of the things. But it's like, I think the longest one I can remember in recent years was from an E3, and it was the Doug Bowser joke, which they had to translate in Japanese.
Yeah, I'm seeing some shade being thrown to Doug Bowser in the comments, and I just need to say, like, no, this was happening before Doug Bowser took over. Let's be honest. And also, I don't think he has anything to do with, like, he has something to do with the American directs, sure, but I think a lot of this changed also when Iwata died also. I believe Giles Goddard, if that's how you pronounce his name, said in an interview, I forget with who, basically once Iwata passed away, the shareholders essentially started running Nintendo, and shareholders only care about one thing, and that's just money. Whereas you could really tell with Iwata and with Reggie too, to an extent, there was genuine enthusiasm about the products they were selling to you. Like, yeah, of course, a corporation's goal is to make money, right? But Iwata, you could tell he was a game developer first, and like a president of a company second. Just the way he would insert himself into those directs, like, you don't see that with Shintaro Furukawa ever. When have you ever seen this man on camera? You haven't. So I get it. It's not the president's job to be on camera, but it was still appreciated. Like, Iwata was just that influential, and as a result, we see like the Nintendo is becoming a lot more corporate, it seems, especially when we see how they run Nintendo Directs. But all I'm saying is, thank God the games are still bangers. Like, and they're not just saying like, hey, we need to make money, let's just make live service games. Like, that's not happening. That's not happening at Nintendo, at least.
Let's say at least the core part that's most important is still being handled with a lot of care. So there's at least that. But like they're branching out more into movies and amusement parks.
Yep.
Like it kind of helps them to be able to make more games, not worry about the risk associated with them. Because you hear about a lot of other companies making AAA games. Like I was listening to a podcast the other day with the guy, the director of Hi-Fi Rush, and it's like he was asked, could you make this game today? It's like, well, just any game today is a big risk.
Yeah.
So
hopefully,
like with Nintendo's next console, we'll see that they can take some chances still. It's like not just necessarily play it safe. Like Tears of the Kingdom, spending so much time in the physics and stuff like that, it's kind of a risk in a way. So like it's appreciated.
Huge risk, yeah. Oh, we got a super chat from Bowser Jr. talking about Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Hope they didn't change the Pit of 100 Trials in Paper Mario Remake. Also, not sure when timer starts for Little Yoshi and Thousand-Year Door for colors.
Yeah, I hope they don't change the Pit of 100 Trials. If anything, I hope maybe they add a second one. Super Paper Mario had two, so that'd be cool. The timer starts, I believe, the moment you get the egg. I'll have a video guide about that when the game comes out. I know that's something people are going to want and need. But I'm pretty sure it's like the moment you have control over Mario, when the egg is in your party, so to say, that's when that timer starts.
I see. Everything you say is gibberish to me. So
yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about how Nintendo's boring now, everyone.
No.
But but this Topical Freeze was inspired by Don's tweet. I'm also actually working on a video on this today, which is going to go up sometime this weekend, hopefully. So yeah, hope you enjoy that. Tom, what are you going to say?
No, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was just going to say back to Nintendo, though, like some things is just that not everyone knows a joke, and you always get new people coming to their audience. Maybe they just found out through through their marketing, through their research, that keeping it simple works best. That might be an unfortunate reality we have to deal with, but it's like that's not even how Nintendo Switch, the console itself, got rid of a lot of personality, like no music and stuff in eShops. And it's just, and it worked so well. Nintendo was hesitant maybe to do that for a long time. Like I joked that at 100 million units, they could bring back Wii Sports. And yeah, sure enough, I lucked out and they brought it back. So
yes.
Yeah.
But like, you're like, honestly, you're right. Like it really is a case of like when the Switch came out, it was like the change of an era. Like the Switch itself has less personality in it, in its OS than the Wii U did. And I think that really is part of like even what we're seeing here with the Nintendo Direct. It's part of Nintendo trying to shift away from how the presentation of these things are and put more of a focus on the games themselves. Because realistically, you look at these Nintendo Directs that we've mentioned, notice how we're talking about the skits from these Nintendo Directs more than the games that some of the skits are even based around. Because that's what was memorable. Not to say that the games were bad necessarily, but the skits were more memorable than the games being shown in those presentations. Whereas nowadays, since the Switch era, what people grade Nintendo Directs on are what games were there. And I think that's the difference Nintendo wants there, to keep that focus on their content.
Yeah,
but imagine if they gave us skits with the memorable games, is basically what I'm trying to say. Like,
no, of course.
I'm not out here trying to say like the Nintendo was better in the Wii U and 3DS days. Like a lot of people seem to just take that away from whenever people say like, oh, I miss the Wii U and 3DS Directs. But then they'll say like, what are you talking about? The Switch is such a better era. And I'm like, yes, that's not what we're saying.
Yeah, these are different sentences, people.
Right. Just because I say I like waffles doesn't mean I hate pancakes. Like, calm down, everybody. All right. I got.
What about French toast, Joey? Come on.
Yeah. James here said everybody remembers the E3 2014 and 2015 digital event, even though there were no games. That is a lie. That is a straight up lie. 2015 is true though. 2014, not true at all. 2014 had, and we recollect, Bayonetta 2, Super Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS, the introduction to Amiibo, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, then known as Zelda Wii U, Hyrule Warriors, and it ended the freaking show with Splatoon 1.
Yeah, 2014 had quite a lot going for it.
Yes, but 2015 was garbage.
2015 was like Mario Maker and
That's it.
I actually can't remember what else was there.
It's
Well, I guess
Mario
Splatoon, but
Mario-
Splatoon out at that point.
It was out at that point.
Yeah, never
And
mind.
then there was Star Fox Zero, though. Great game.
2015 was when they had the puppets. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
what's memorable about that presentation was the skit.
Yes, the skit where Muppet, Reggie, Miyamoto, and Iwata were like morphing into Star Fox characters, and it looked like a scene out of Hereditary. It was so funny. yeah, that was iconic. I think the 2014 digital event was probably their best Nintendo Direct ever. Honestly, like this, just iconic. Just I remember sitting there like that morning waiting for it to start, and then I see Robot Chicken Reggie come in, and I'm like, hold up, what is going on? Did I even wake up? Is this a dream I'm having? Like, my goodness, it's you were there, Tom. What was it like? You were actually at the E3. Were you watching it like in the lobby at all, or was it?
We probably
was
were in the
failed to be
media
turned
room
into a
watching
robot
it, is
chicken
my
skit.
guess.
Yeah. Did you say it turned into a robot chicken sketch?
Yeah. I said, yeah, you were at E3 that year. How did it feel to be turned into a robot chicken sketch?
Yeah, Tom, you said,
Look at
Tom,
my
you're the
hands,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, Tom, you were like, "Come on, Reggie, give us Mother 3." And that was crazy. That was so crazy. Nintendo never makes fun of themselves like that. They didn't even back then. That was unheard of. Like it's just like they're joking about another Mario game, and it's just like yes, this was the thing I keep hearing Nintendo being made fun of for is that the fact they only make Mario, and now they're joking about it in a sketch. And then he just says, "Come on, Reggie, give us Mother 3." Which I believe, Tom, you highlighted a comment saying people didn't even know about Mother 3 until that joke.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. And the fact that they still haven't given it to us is just even funnier.
Chris Holmes had a good comment, though. Perhaps they were puppets because Iwata was sick and didn't want to be on camera. So
Right.
I don't know. I think
They might have planned
he
that.
would want to be on camera, but yeah, I could understand that at the time.
I think they already had a deal going on with the Jim Henson Company anyway. So regardless of how well...
Yeah, it takes a long time to make puppets, too. Really, so...
For the love of God, you two. They're Muppets with an M. And they had Iwata do the bananas in that with that Muppet.
Which was so good.
Yes. Oh, we have another one here for the memes with the super chat. Thank you so much. 2019 E3 was my favorite Banjo for Smash. That was so good. I think that was like the only, to be honest though, that and Zelda were like the only memorable things for me from that E3.
Yeah.
And that's that Zelda didn't come out for another 4 freaking years after that. So
yes, I remember the being in the media room for that one, just watching it, and the highly professional media all erupting into cheers at that time.
It was when they saw that puzzle piece, right? The jiggy.
Yeah, it was immediate. It was. I think the Twilight Princess one was maybe more intense because that was like a huge auditorium, but same kind of feeling. So
that's fun.
Yeah, and 2019 was also the last E3 we got to rip. Yeah, the last physical E3. They tried one more time, and then like, I hate this industry. It's just not the same anymore. It's so sad.
Hey,
but
Summer Games Fest is kind of replacing it. You got fans going to that now. So
do we got fans going to that now? I thought it was just still media.
I think there'll be a few fans going to it.
Just a few fans, like 1 or 2.
A few thousand.
Yeah. That Twilight Princess reveal was amazing, wasn't it, Chris? Yeah, I don't think any that when was that? 2004? That's almost 20 years old now.
Something like that, yeah. Because 2004, that was the last one I went to, I think, for a few years. So,
all right, Gift, you can't be lying to me right now. You said you met Kevin Afghani today. Where? Was he at a convention?
I also met Keanu Reeves earlier. So,
yeah, I met him last night. Bro, chill dude. But Keanu was actually in my town. He was actually in Sacramento with his band performing at the Crest Theater, and I was just like, dang it, I wish I went. That way I could be like, Shadow. Just in the crowd yelling, Shadow. And then he'd be like, okay, whoa. Or whatever he does. But yeah. Oh, we got another super chat from Bowser Jr. Thank you so much, Bowser Jr. Your daddy must be rich because he's Bowser, you know. Biggest things I want to see in the next Nintendo console, whatever Nintendo's calling it, is being able to message your friends and talk using a headset. Just the fact that you can't message your friends on Switch is just like the voice chat thing is another issue, but it's baffling that you cannot message your friends through that. I guess Nintendo thinks everyone messages each other through text anyway. But I don't know. The PlayStation lets you chat with friends even through your phone through the PlayStation Messenger app, and Xbox lets you do that too. It's insane. You could message your friends on Wii U and Wii though.
Yeah. Who knows why?
Well, it's called Discord. I mean, come on.
Causing Discord.
Just put Discord on Switch. There you
A
go.
discourse about Discord.
Yes, here for the memes. Thank you so much for the super chat. One more thought. Where's my Star Fox game? You already got it in 2018, man. It's called
Starlink.
Starlink. I forgot the name. Battle for Atlas. God, that was even somehow that game was more forgettable than Star Fox Zero. I'm sorry to say.
I'll say too. It's being developed by X Zodiac. It's an indie game I did a Game & Watch for. There's more levels than that now, and I think it was a bit of a delay because I think it went to a different engine, went to a newer version of a game, Godot. I've heard people call it Godot, but I checked. It's Godot.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gal Gadot's game engine. And that's still coming along. Like, there's a few Star Fox likes out there to try.
Absolutely, it really is, because Nintendo for some reason just doesn't know how to make a good Star Fox game anymore. And I'm like, guys, just play Star Fox 64 again. You'll figure it out. Yes.
That does not mean make Star Fox 64 again, because you've done that too many times.
Oh my God, seriously. Yeah. Any final thoughts before we close out this show? Any final thoughts on any of the topics that we talked about, even if it's not just Topical Freeze? Just it's been a crazy week, but it's been the best week ever because Keanu Reeves is Shadow the Hedgehog now, and my dreams have come true.
I want to talk about briefly how Nintendo is skipping Gamescom. I believe that was this week.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Did they skip Gamescom last year too? Though?
No, they were at Gamescom, I believe.
Were they? Okay.
But at least, like, we heard mostly about behind closed doors, though. That's what the rumor was, showing off Switch 2. So
Nintendo Gamescom 2023. I mean, they had Mario Wonder. Maybe they were demoing it. Oh yeah, Gamescom 2023 was actually their first big trade show in a while.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, I don't know if they tried it and maybe found out like, oh, it's not worth it, or it's a sign that they won't have that much for the fall, or if they're going to just focus on Summer Games Fest. It'll be interesting to see. We'll find out probably late May, June, if they're going to do that or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think,
Chris? What do you think about the Gamescom? Is that a bad sign for more games or the new hardware?
I think it's interesting the fact that they went last year, and it was kind of a big deal that they went last year. And then they're not going again this year. Yeah. I do think it's a sign that the rest of this year for the Switch may be different than the past few years. Not necessarily that it's worse, but it might be that Nintendo's strategy for this year is different. It might be a case of if whole thing with Switch 2 being internally delayed, their plans for events and what to bring to events may be entirely different now. So they may just opt to, okay, well, instead of putting together things to bring to an event, we're just gonna not do it. That may very well be what it is instead. They're just not going to do the event instead.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to think to having their own event. Space
Nintendo
World
Live
2000 to Live 2. I was thinking Space World 2024. Not going to Gamescom means Nintendo is cooking. I hope so, but man,
I hope so.
It's going to be a rough year if they're only in the back end, like cooking something, and they're not giving us anything to play on our Switches, like Metroid Prime 4. Where the hell is that game? God, only waited the entirety.
Catch up on the backlog, but
the backlog, man, that's true, right? I have a huge backlog, but also like I want to play new stuff at the same time. My toxic trait is like I have a backlog, but I always want to play the new stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he says back to the Nintendo drought. I was really hoping Nintendo would be good about that this console generation and not put us in a Nintendo drought before the new console comes out, because they can't seem to not like just have a week last year of their consoles before coming out with a new thing.
Well, they certainly had a super long streak. Did that streak of like a game every month continue, or is there like it was almost
there been some
for a long time? So
I think there have been some breaks. I don't know about this year. Did they even come? Actually, do they have a game this month?
No, they instead they have 2 next month with Endless Ocean and Paper Mario.
Ah, so they broke it.
This is the first month in a while with no games, I think.
Yeah.
Released in September?
Makes
I don't
sense.
remember if there anything released in September. So
Was there anything in December last year?
in December? Maybe they're no, okay, maybe actually December, yeah.
Chat, help us out. Oh yeah, we also know Pokemon Legends Z or Z,
Yep.
if you're cultured, is coming out 2025.
The shot at Canadians.
Yes, I was mainly trying to slander the English, but that's fine too. Do you think that James asked? Do you think there will be a 1,000-Year Door demo? And I don't think so.
I don't think so. It would be nice, but I don't see them releasing a demo for it.
For sure. Yeah, they come out demos for Mario and Donkey Kong and Peach Showtime, but those are special cases in that they're not. How do I say this without sounding rude? They're not big, huge releases. Peach was different in that sense, but yeah.
Peach needed a demo because it was something brand new. Mario versus Donkey Kong is a level-based game. It's easy to make a demo out of.
Yeah.
There wasn't a demo for Mario RPG, so I don't think there will be a demo for the 1,000-Year Door for the same reason. Making a demo of an RPG is a little like right before release is a little odd. So
I agree.
Well,
yeah.
What's it that Square does sometimes? They'll have a demo, you play like 2 hours, and then you can keep your save progress they can entice you to just buy the game and jump in.
But those are also usually games that are dozens of hours long at minimum.
Yeah. Yeah. With the 1,000-Year Door, I think they can kind of rest on the laurels of everyone who played the game in the past, really pushing it and encouraging, talking about it and getting people hyped up about it.
Gotta get the hype going. And Sylvie says 1,000-Year Door seems to be the big game of the year, so far. But yeah, Metroid Dread had a demo, but that was actually after the game came out too. That wasn't before.
Yeah, that was after.
Yeah, but yeah, I hope it's not Nintendo's big release this year, because it's like they've been sitting on a game for how many years now? Not sitting on it, but just all I'm thinking is, dude, you have a great opportunity right now. If Metroid Prime 4 is almost done, don't save it for the next console. If you got nothing else coming out this
holiday title.
Yeah, come on, make it your holiday title at this point.
Yeah.
If people want to wait until Switch 2 comes out to play it, let them. I don't care. It's
yeah. We all know that they're gonna wait until 1,000-Year Door's out, and then June announce some sort of title for November or later on in the year to look forward to.
Yeah, I gotta feel like they gotta have something cooking for the rest of the year. Something, at least. It doesn't even have to be Metroid Prime 4. I'm just what is your game plan, Nintendo? What are you gonna go to your investors meeting with? About your
Wind Waker HD2.
HD2. Yeah.
Not to be mistaken with a Wind Waker 2. It is HC2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Super Gaming says, I hope for Nintendo Direct in the summer. It seems likely at this point. We had one in June last year after Summer Game Fest. So
yeah, I suspect June is when we're going to next see one of those. Probably based on how late it's coming out. Probably before Luigi's Mansion 2 releases.
Yeah. James asks, what else has Retro Studios been doing for the past 10 years? Nothing. We're never going to find out. But I'm not even it's not that they weren't doing anything, but whatever they were doing, we're never going to see. Guaranteed. Metroid
we saw that little arm in the Reggie.
Yeah, I don't understand. Even Reggie gave an answer of what that is, and he couldn't even say, because it's just an inside joke, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, that's what he said at least. But yeah, I'm willing to bet now, after the IndieWorld this month, that the original rumor was by the Brazilian game journalist whose name escapes me, was IndieWorld in March, which didn't happen. It happened in April. And then a Nintendo Direct in April, which is probably not going to happen. And then the Switch 2 announcement in June. And I don't even think the Switch 2 is going to be announced in June at this point.
No, I suspect it's going to follow a similar timeline to the original Switch, of announced in September, October, in terms of a first announcement. Properly detailed December, January, and then releasing March, April.
It sounds like they're really trying to repeat the success of the Switch 1 as much as they can. And
I
I'm
don't
just
blame
like, but I'm also just sitting here thinking, can that happen twice?
Yeah.
I don't. I'm kind of I'm kind of a little bit shaking on that because I'm just like the Switch was kind of like perfect timing in that sense. I feel like that was like really perfect timing, but Switch 2, I don't know. Things are different now. Things are a lot
Bowser
different than they
Jr.'s
were in
back.
2017. Yeah. And then another Bowser Jr. super chat. Thank you so much, man. Maybe when Donkey Kong comes to Nintendo theme park, they add the GBA games or Donkey Kong 64 maybe. GBA DK games for 2-player, but not through link cable. Had to pass system around. Wonder how Nintendo will make it online. I'm not sure. That's a good. I want Donkey Kong 64 on Switch Online. I love Donkey Kong 64.
It's weird that
It's
it not already there.
It is weird. It's on the Wii U eShop though, or it was on the Wii U eShop.
Yeah, it was.
Johnny asks, "What is it? Do you think we're getting Donkey Kong games, Joey?" I don't. We already had one. It was Mario versus Donkey Kong. So if we're gonna get a new one though, it's not gonna be this year.
Not this year.
Doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pikmin442 says, I give the Switch 2 announcement a year or two. I think you're gonna get it way sooner than a year or two. Like it very much seems like now is finally the time. Unless that June Direct comes in and it's just like games. And then it's just like, okay, now I don't know again. Because that's what happened in 2023. I felt like,
yeah,
okay, like Nintendo's gearing up for a Switch 2 announcement soon because we don't know anything about the rest of their 2023. And then the June Direct came in and like bam. So
yeah, if it does that again, then I mean, yeah, it could be another like at least year away, but hard to say.
Hard to say. Yeah. I'm getting tired of the current Switch hardware, man. I'm telling you, it's just like I want something faster. I want something bigger. I want something with more storage. Like I'm ready to play something new at this point. So
yeah, I've kind of been levitating to using Steam Deck more. So
I haven't even gotten a Steam Deck yet. I think I'm just gonna wait for the Steam Deck 2 in like 2 years or what have you. Yeah, I've been playing I played my PlayStation Vita recently. That was fun. Real Sean and Stewart. Okay, we're gonna read like a few more comments and then we'll be done. At this point, we're just reading comments because yeah, otherwise this episode would have gone way shorter. Sadly, I think Retro might be all hands on deck with Prime 4. Sadly? That's good. That's real good. Man, dude. One of my biggest disappointment of the Switch era is just like them announcing it year one and then nothing for the rest of it. I hope Nintendo is embarrassed by that and they learn from it. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah, you got your Steam Deck OLED and you love it, Sylvie. Nice. But I think that about does it for this episode here of the Pipeline. Bit of a fun one, if I do declare. We kind of just went off the rails the last 15 minutes just because we don't want to give you a 30-minute long Pipeline episode. It's an hour or it's bust, you know? But thank you all so much for watching this episode here of the Pipeline. Comment below what your favorite news story is, and we will see you all next week, assuming all goes to plan. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Now smile and wave. Smile and wave.